What's going on, my fellow Kino Lords? So today I'm going to be reviewing a film called Friendship, which is written and directed by Andrew DeYoung and stars Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd. So Friendship is a movie that I was immediately interested in when I watched the trailer because the trailer was like marketed as like a horror movie, and for most of the trailer I was like, this is like a really weird and unique kind of horror movie. And then once it was over, I was like, okay, clearly this is just a comedy that is marketing itself in a different and unique kind of way. But either way, I was like, this is really cool and this is really unique and I really want to check it out. And then later on, shout out to my friend Zach Zeman, who introduced me to the whole Tim Robinson shtick. He showed me a few sketches from his show, I Think You Should Leave. And I was just like, totally on board with what he was doing. I was like, this is really funny to me. Um, and I was like, it just made me even more hyped to check this movie out. Um, so yeah, and also shout out to Scotty Morris, and the press marketing team for giving me an invite to watch this movie at the Atlanta Film Festival, which I think is the only other film festival besides TIFF to screen this movie. Really grateful to be on that press list and check this movie out and give an early review for you guys. Um, but yeah, like after watching Friendship, this movie, I personally, I thought was fucking hilarious. Like I really, really dug this movie. Um, and I know like that might sound repetitive at this point because I've seen three movies this week. I watched The Surfer, Thunderbolts, and now Friendship, and I thought all of them are great. And I was expecting to hate Thunderbolts really because I fucking hate Marvel movies, but even that movie was actually kind of great in my opinion. So I don't know what to say. I'm sorry that today's been, I mean, not today, but just this week has been a great week for movies for me. But you know, Friendship was a great fucking movie. And again, like I mean, as I was watching it, I was like, okay, if you're not into the Tim Robinson shtick, then maybe it won't really be for you. Um, because it's from the sketches that I've seen from I Think You Should Leave, it does remind me so much of that. Like this whole movie feels like the Tim Robinson show. And if you're not into that like social outcast, incredibly awkward, cringe humor, then I can see you not really liking this movie because this is a movie that is filled with like secondhand embarrassment and like borderline psychotic behavior. But it is so entertaining, so just like amusing and hilarious. And I was just all here for it. Like this was a movie that I found thoroughly entertaining from start to finish. Um, and like even though this isn't written or directed or even produced by Tim Robinson, it feels like it was written for the screen for Tim Robinson. Like I could be completely wrong in my assumption, but I really do feel that this was a movie that had Tim Robinson in mind. I mean, Paul Rudd is great in this movie too, and I feel like Paul Rudd also kind of has like in this movie, he reminded me a lot of Brian Fantana from Anchorman. Not only because he plays a newsman, I mean, in this one he plays a weatherman, um, but he's on the news and he has a very similar personality to Brian Fantana's personality. It just reminds me so much of him from Anchorman, and he's great in this movie. Like again, he's somebody that I mean, even though he has a lot of his own problems and shit, he has to portray somebody who is desperately and awkwardly trying to kick somebody out of a friend group that is just no longer like vibing with them. Um, but he's also a complete asshole in this movie too, like hugely an asshole in so many ways. Um, but anyway, no, this really is like the Tim Robinson show. Like he is so good at portraying that like secondhand embarrassment, saying the wrong things at the wrong time, just like this like 13-year-old teenage boy mind in a fucking like late 30, 40-year-old body. And it's just so fucking amusing to me to see that like throughout the entire movie. And again, this movie is called Friendship, so it really is, again, and this is a vibe that I got from his show, I Think You Should Leave. This is about someone who really wants to make a genuine connection with another human being. This is a an attempted bromance type of movie, but it just goes awry in a very dark way, which is something I think now more than ever is more relatable. Like I think a lot of people are kind of dealing with uh, difficulties adjusting to friend groups, difficulties kind of reading social cues, which is something that Tim Robinson character does so many fucking times in this movie. Um, but it's I don't know. It feels appropriate for the time, and I think maybe that's something that has really resonated with his attempt at comedy and his stylistic comedic approach. Um, is that I think people, do feel kind of isolated and do feel like a yearning for a genuine friendship, but always seem to feel like the odd man out. And this movie, through his character, like demonstrates that so well. There's so many scenes in this movie that are just like laugh out loud hilarious. But then a lot of it, honestly, like I would say like most of this movie is like a lot of like quiet humor. Like a lot of it is just like amusing because of the awkwardness, and it's not most of it is not really punchline humor. I mean, the theater that I was in was treating like every single fucking like attempt at humor in this movie as punchline humor. I mean, literally like every tiny attempt at humor was met with like uproaring laughter, which is, not a surprise to me with the theater that I went to. But overall, like in my opinion, a lot of this movie isn't meant for like gut busting laughter. Like I feel like a lot of the humor is just meant to be like amusing and cringe, but in an entertaining way. And I understand that's not something that everybody can exactly handle or find entertaining or appreciate, but it's something that I really enjoy. And and yeah, like this movie is just Tim Robbins' character obsessively yearning for a friendship. And you could argue, like, even though he does some fucking psychotic things in this movie, you could argue that he only goes down this fucking, like, psychotic rabbit hole because of the friend group that he was a part of was just completely unfair to understanding his point of view or understanding his emotions. And they're just, people that just, like, don't have any care in the world to understand a different kind of human being. And that's another thing I really liked about the movie is that yeah, Tim Robinson's character is fucking crazy and we're all laughing at him because of how absurd he is. And there's a lot of scenes where he just like yells at the top of his lungs, which are really, really hilarious scenes. There's like one scene where he's kind of like, he's kind of outcasted into his garage playing his drums, and he has this interaction with this dude randomly at a party who asks to use his bathroom, and that whole interaction is so fucking funny. um but like yeah, like even though he's somebody who like most people couldn't get along with or keep in a friend group, he he's somebody that does feel genuine and somebody that isn't just putting on a face to please other people. And you kind of empathize with that, no matter how fucking crazy this guy is in the movie. And I don't know, I just really found that respectable in the movie in terms of the writing. And also I like there's something that happens between Paul Rudd and Tim Robinson, um, where Tim Robinson naturally kind of showcases his loyalty and friendship to Paul Rudd's character, even through all the bullshit, even no matter how bad Paul Rudd has treated him, and no matter how bad or no matter how much Paul Rudd has tried to get him away from him and his family and the friend group, Tim Robinson is still trying to keep a secret for him. And it is such a great touch to the whole theme of the movie. Um, and it manifests itself wonderfully in the third act, like especially like in the last like 10 minutes of the movie. I think it's wonderful. It's hilarious, it's thematic, and it's meaningful, and I really, really liked it a lot. Um, but yeah, again, like so many scenes in this movie that I think are just so fucking great. There's one scene in particular involving a toad, and it is just like from like start to finish, from when that scene, from the very initial setup of that scene, all the way to the end of it, is just fucking glorious and hilarious. I just couldn't get enough of it. So good. Um, yeah, I don't know. This movie overall, like I just really, really loved it. And like there's a lot of moments in this movie too that are like they're not really meant for laughs. They're actually like on the more serious side, and they almost feel sad. Like there's some moments where like Tim Robinson is genuinely like getting bullied, and I don't know. I just found a lot of that stuff like kind of sad and not really funny. And I don't know if it was meant to be funny, but it was like, damn, that's just harsh. And that made me feel for like his character even more. Um, like there's definitely like a meaningful, slight undertone to this movie that feels a little bit dark. Um, so that was like a layer of the movie that I also appreciated. Um, but but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure it's gonna be everybody's cup of tea, but I really love this movie. I thought it was really great. I like what Tim Robinson's doing. I think Andrew DeYoung did a great job writing and directing this movie, which seems to me like kind of like for Tim Robinson. Um, and yeah, that's probably all I'll say before I give my rating. So I'm gonna give Friendship a solid 8 out of 10. Really great stuff, and I thought it was fucking just a blast at the movies. So definitely check this movie out. It's worth a shot. I think it was just all around really well crafted stuff. So that's it, guys. That's all I'll say about Friendship. If you really enjoy what I had to say about the films, give it a thumbs up and share it amongst your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be updated on more film related content.